Welcome to Storytime with Papa Henry. We are reading from the book Captain Daly's Crew and the Long-Eared Taxicab by Craig Massey. This is chapter 6. Jennifer is missing. Early Monday morning, Mr. Jameson came to the house looking worried and tired. "Good morning, fellas," he greeted, and I noticed a bit of trembling in his voice. "Did you take Jennifer over to the mainland yesterday?" Chuck chipped in.
"No, Mr. Jameson, we haven't seen Jennifer since Saturday."
"Oh, no." The professor shook his head wearily. That child!
What's wrong?"
"This." And he pulled a piece of paper from his red checkered shirt pocket. Chuck took the paper and read aloud.
"Dear Father and Mother, I am very unhappy. Don't worry about me. I'm going to grandmother's. I took $50 for car fare, and when you want me, stop at grandmother's for me. Your very sad daughter, Jennifer."
"My wife and I," Mr. Jameson explained, "took a short walk yesterday afternoon. When we came back, we found she had gone. I had some money hidden in the tent, and as the note indicates, $50 was missing. I guess I was pretty angry, for I told my wife that we'd just let Jennifer go. Of course, she insisted that I run right after that child, but I refused. I thought she'd returned. But after a night of hysteria, I came down. I thought maybe she'd get this far and no further. You say you didn't even see her yesterday?" "No, Mr. Jameson, we didn't. We spent the day in Bear Valley Village," I said. "Well, I suppose somebody else took her over then."
That could be. Campers are always coming and going," Pudge suggested.
"Well," Mr. Jameson sighed, "I suppose I'll have to go over to Bear Valley Village and phone my mother and see that the girl is safe." The man went down to his boat, started the motor, and chugged out into the mist-shrouded lake. After breakfast, while we were washing the dishes, the front door swung open. It was Mrs. Jameson. "Where's John? Where's Jennifer?" she said, almost screaming. Chuck spoke up.
"We don't know where Jennifer is, but your husband went across the lake in a boat a while ago."
"So Jennifer has gone!" And she jabbed her finger toward Pudge. You're the one, young man! You and that mule of yours!" Pudge blurted. "Jennifer isn't a mule, she's a donkey." "Oh!" shrieked Mrs. Jameson. "Don't you dare refer to that animal by the name of my daughter!" Aunt Lottie waddled toward the half-hysterical woman.
"Come, Mrs. Jameson, and have a cup of coffee. I'm sure Pudge didn't mean any harm. Besides, your husband is calling his mother, and I'm sure he'll find Jennifer safe and sound."
I can tell you, we finished up the dishes in a hurry and left the lodge. We went down to the dock and fished for sunnies and rock bass for dinner. We caught them too, time after time, as soon as we dropped our worms into the water. "How are you, boys?" The voice that came from behind us was sure a surprise. We hadn't heard Jeremiah Quaggin slip up, but there he was, his own little bow-legged self, with his red, bald head beaming brightly in the sunlight. "Fishin', I see. Them's fine eatin' fish. You wouldn't be mindin' if I just took 3 or 4 for my dinner, would ye now?" And again he gave us no time to reply, but leaned over and hoisted up the string and slipped off 4 of the biggest. "You'll never know these 4 are gone, seeing how you have so many." "Sure, you can have them," Slim said, with a big grin on his face. "You please me, boys, doing kindly favors to an old man. Just wish that girl up there I met yesterday was nice as ye are." "You mean Jennifer Jameson?" I questioned. "I guess that be her. Tall, jet-haired girl, full of sass." Pudge groaned. "Yeah, that sounds like her. Chuck's interest had been perked up.
When did you see her, Mr. Quaggins?
Yesterday evening.
Where'd you see her?
Up on the trail to Twin Mountains.
You mean she wasn't coming down this way?
Pudge exploded. No, sirree! She was going t'other way. And when she seen me, she says to me, she say, if I follow her this trail, will I be coming to a town? I says, yep, daughter, if you goes far enough. And without a waiting to see how far I'd tell her, off she goes, straight as a poker, angry as a hornet. 'Tweren't none of my business, so I let her go.
Oh, no,
Chuck groaned.
Say, how far is that town?
18 miles, thereabouts.
Jumping pumpkin seeds. Boy, I agree with you, Pudge, Slim ejected. Jumping pumpkin seeds.
Look, gang, I piped up. There's one sure thing. Jennifer could never get to that town before dark. 18 miles is a long way to walk. The old-timer scratched his bald head. Want to know something? That 18 miles is the roughest 18 miles in the world. That trail goes right over one of them twin peaks. And besides that, it goes through Rattlesnake Valley. And you want to know something? It ain't no picnic even for a strong fella like me, much less a girl.
Why in the world didn't you stop her?
Chuck sighed. Not me. I'm afraid of them. Girls, I mean. Pudge piped up.
Say, Jeremiah Quaggins, you wouldn't be hiding something from us, would you?
No, sirree, son. I'm telling you what happened. Chuck was on his feet.
Look, gang, let's wait for Mr. Jameson to come back. Then we'll be ready to hike out after her.
At 9:30, Mr. Jameson returned. Before the boat reached the dock, we called. Any news? Knowing what the answer would be. No, boys. I'm really worried.
We know where she is, or at least we know where she headed,
Pudge called out.
She took the trail the other way.
Mr. Jameson was out of the boat in a leap. Why, it would be impossible for a child like that to go over that trail. How did you find out? Chuck glanced around as he answered.
Jeremiah Quaggins told us. Hey, where'd he go to? He was here just a short while ago.
Search me, Slim said. Pudge bellowed. Mr. Quaggins! Mr. Quaggins! But there was no answer. He sure got out of sight in a hurry, I said.
By the way, Slim piped up, your wife's in the lodge.
Did you tell her about Jennifer?
No, sir, Slim answered.
I suppose I'll have to. Mr. Jameson sighed and headed toward the lodge. Then over his shoulder he called, Will you boys mind going up the trail with me?
Not at all, Chuck answered for all of us.
The next chapter is called Rattlesnake on the Trail.